Hello, and thank you for taking time this weekend to join us here on KREM 2 News. I'm Cody Proctor, and this is the KREM 2 News Weekend Review. We know life gets busy, and it can be tough to keep up with all the news. So let's get you updated on some of the headlines from this past week.
Mr. Coe's passing was as unimpressive as his life. That is a direct quote from Spokane County Prosecutor Preston McCullum. Now, Kevin Coe died of natural causes this morning around 5:30 after Federal Way police say officers were called to his adult family home for a medical emergency. FWPD says fire personnel on scene were already performing CPR when officers arrived, but Coe was pronounced dead at the scene. His death comes just months after he was released from civil commitment at McNeil Island. Up until October, Coe was considered a sexually violent predator and confined to the state's Special Commitment Center after he was believed to have committed around 40 rapes and sexual assaults in Spokane in the late 70s and early 80s. Coe was released after it was determined his deteriorating physical condition and age meant he could no longer be a threat to the public. During the trial, Shelley Monahan Kane and a handful of other victims spoke about Coe's release. However, Shelley was the only one to give us permission to film her.
Even when he walks out of McNeil Island, he will never be free unless his last breath is what he does by asking God forgiveness.
Following the news of Coe's death, we reached out to Spokane County Prosecutor Preston McCullum since he worked closely with the victims during the trial. He sent KREM to a statement saying, in part, despite the stain he was on humanity, I pray that those who endured his crimes find some level of solace in that he no longer shares the same state of existence as the rest of us. To read McCullum's full statement, just head to our website, krem.com. Now, I did reach out to Monahan Kane for a statement about Coe's death, but didn't hear back. In the newsroom, Christian Garza, KREM 2 News.
In Washington state, public employees do not have a legally protected right to strike, which means the Moses Lake teachers strike is unlawful. There is no specific law that punishes teachers for participating in the strike, but the school district can take legal action to send them back to work.
How much longer will the Moses Lake teachers strike last? That may now be decided in court. Washington law explicitly says public employees like these don't have a protected right to strike or refuse their official duties. The state doesn't establish any specific penalties for teachers involved in an unlawful strike, but the courts can legally stop the strike through an order known as an injunction. That's the step Moses Lake School District took with its injunction filed this week.
I feel like it's a distraction from what is really important. What's really important is getting to the bargaining table and negotiating.
That's the Moses Lake Education Association reacting tonight. For the court to send these teachers back to work, the district must prove three things. They have a clear legal right at stake. There's a real immediate threat that this right is about to be violated, and that violation is already causing or will cause actual significant harm. Meantime, most school employees will face no pay consequences for refusing to work. That's according to the Washington Policy Center. The nonprofit says Washington law requires a 180-day school year. That means employees hired for those 180 days will still be paid for all of them, just on a different schedule. The Moses Lake Teachers Union says it won't be distracted by the lawsuit. And until the court's ruling,
we are going to stand strong on the line. This work stoppage is a common occurrence. And so we know what's important, and our students are important, and the educators of Moses Lake School District are important.
Now, a hearing for the injunction filed by the Moses Lake School District is set for next Tuesday afternoon. Amanda Rowley, KREM 2 News.
Well, as soon as tonight, 20-year-old Caleb Hewlings could walk free. Even the judge noted how this sentence is substantially below the normal range. Under a plea agreement, Hewlings will get credit for nearly 2 years he's already served. Prosecutors say Caleb Hewlings stabbed 76-year-old Alvin Gallegos to death in April 2023. But they also say he shouldn't serve any more time in jail. Thursday, Hewlings pleaded guilty to manslaughter under an Alford plea. He was originally charged with second-degree murder.
For an Alford plea, you're pleading guilty and acknowledging that there's sufficient evidence to convict you at trial, but you're not admitting to the crime.
Hewlings maintains his mother, Danae, carried out the murder.
An incredibly difficult situation for me, and I did not commit this murder. I witnessed this murder, and I would just love to get back to my life.
Hewlings' mother was also charged in Gallegos' death. She pleaded guilty to lesser offenses in May. The prosecutor said they faced real risk of failing to convict at trial because she'd have to testify.
Nothing could have prevented her from coming in and saying, I lied, I was in fact the one who committed the murder. That was a serious risk that could have happened. The other scenario is her simply saying, I don't remember anything.
Another factor in this deal is Hewlings' age and allegations Gallegos sexually assaulted him 2 years before the murder. Gallegos was never convicted under those claims. Now, under his plea agreement, Hewlings will also have to serve 3 years under community custody. He was also ordered to have no contact with his mother for the rest of his life. Shannon Mowdy, KREM 2 News.
As we go to break, here's a check of your forecast. Welcome back to the KREM 2 News Week in Review. Before we get back to this week's headlines, we want to remind you, you can get the latest news and weather forecast anytime you want on KREM 2 Plus. It's our streaming app you can watch on your TV, and best of all, it's free. We hope you'll check it out, but now let's get back to the Week in Review.
Folks with Thrive International say the people they serve are concerned and worried after the administration paused immigration applications to 19 different countries. At Thrive International, the mission to help takes many forms, from helping immigrants and refugees find housing and jobs to learning new skills.
Folks who come from other countries where, like Afghanistan, where women can't drive, we help them learn to drive here at Thrive.
Founded right before Russia's invasion of Ukraine, Thrive International has helped hundreds of refugees, including many from Ukraine. Executive Director Mark Finney says their mission's in the name:
to empower refugees and other immigrants to thrive.
But he fears that mission is about to get more difficult following the Trump administration's pause on immigration applications to 19 more countries. Finney says the people they serve are worried.
So there is a lot of concern, a lot of fear. A lot of people who basically just want to know that they can be here.
A policy memo released on Tuesday from U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services outlines the countries facing travel restrictions. That includes Afghanistan, Iran, and Venezuela. The move comes days after an Afghan national killed one National Guard member and critically injured another in Washington, D.C. Finney argues despite the tragedy in D.C., its facts and the administration's decision don't correlate.
It's absolutely tragic, no justification. And we have every reason to believe at this point that the person acted alone. So creating a travel ban that's going to affect millions of people who had nothing to do with that is just creating lots and lots of pain and suffering.
With the pause in effect as of Wednesday night, Finney says the nonprofit's still assessing what the overall impact will be to the people they serve. Despite the uncertainty, he says they'll be monitoring the situation closely and keeping a positive attitude.
We need positive, forward-thinking solutions.
Connor McAvoy, KREM 2 News.
26-year-old Spencer Worth's family blames Spokane County's jail and Deaconess Hospital for what they believe was his preventable death. Worth collapsed at his mother's home in December 2023, days after being hit by a car. Despite knowing he was wanted for assault, his mother called 911.
No ambulance came. The police arrived.
Family attorney Colin Prince says Worth wasn't immediately booked. His heart was racing 130 beats a minute. He had trouble breathing, low blood pressure, and dizziness. He was sent to the ER at Deaconess.
Spencer also showed blood tests that reflected a heart and a cardiovascular system in extreme distress.
But the family's lawsuit alleges Worth wasn't admitted, never saw a doctor. He was told to sober up, the lawsuit claims, and was taken back to jail.
And he survived approximately another day and a half.
Worth's heart rate stayed abnormally high, the lawsuit shows, until he collapsed in his cell. Prince says he was left alone for upwards of 25 minutes.
The records reflect that a very cursory check was done. And that has been a recurring issue at the Spokane County Jail that has led to numerous deaths.
Another inmate heard his cries for help and wrote to complain guards also heard, looking up but not responding. The lawsuit claims Worth pressed a medical alert button in his cell, but jail staff had muted the alarm.
There's also a visible light that came on, but the two deputies in charge of the medical cell block either didn't notice it or didn't care because they were watching television.
A deputy later found Worth unconscious and covered in his own feces. He was taken back to Deaconess. Prince says staff incorrectly noted overdose at arrival. He was dead 10 minutes later.
He died of a pulmonary embolism. The autopsy revealed that his lungs were full of clots.
The lawsuit claims the condition would have been caught and likely treated with a simple test. Multicare and Spokane County declined to comment. Prince says Worth's family just wants accountability and to keep this from happening to someone else.
They want to make sure that no other family has to receive a phone call that their child has died simply because they were ignored.
Shannon Mowdy, KREM 2 News.
So much fun. Packaging Day is the best because it shows how much people cared, how much they donated. Let's show this little lineup. This is just a little sample of some of the treats that were donated here for Treats to Troops. Everything that you gave, that you dropped off at Area Rosars or brought into the station, thank you. It's getting put into boxes today by our amazing volunteers, folks from all sorts of different groups here today. Favorite Few support crew, they're here today. They're going to be paying to mail all the packages out. 275 is about the number we're at right now. We had so many kids sending cards, so cute. This one is like a little pop-up, and he says, I am in 3rd grade and I love animals. Dear soldier, Merry Christmas. I mean, just really, really thoughtful, cute cards. So, as I said, 275. The packages are filled with all the donated treats that you brought in, that you gave, so thank you. Where are they being sent to? All over the world. Wherever our men and women are deployed from Fairchild Air Force Base, we are trying to get them a package. And so it's pretty amazing because everybody here is coming together, giving what they love, whether it's little coffees or candy or granola bars, bringing what they love, and a little bit of home in the Inland Northwest is going in these packages. The amazing group, the spouses group at Fairchild, they're going to take all these boxes that you see right over here. Once they're packaged up by our volunteers, they will drop those off and take them to the U.S. Postal Service, where each one has to be scanned and then sent out. And they should get there just in time for Christmas. So if you managed to give to the KREM Cares Treats to Troop campaign, we're so grateful. Thank you very much. And know that because of you, very soon, a package will be on its way. Reporting in Airway Heights, Laura Papetti, KREM 2 News.
Thank you for watching the KREM 2 News Week in Review. I'm Cody Proctor. It's been a busy week all across the Inland Northwest, so let's help catch you up on some stories you might have missed.
Started biting on my fingers, and I just prayed to God. I was so bloody when he finished with me.
On October 13th, 88-year-old Emma Cotton says a stranger approached her on the back porch of her Rainier Beach home, demanded she hand over her belongings, and proceeded to beat her.
I gave him the ring, on my wedding ring, but he was selfish. He wanted any ring or anything I had on.
He bit off her finger and left her with other serious injuries.
And I just hate to see a young man you know, with a life like that, you know. And I told him so. I said, how would you feel if somebody was doing this to your grandmother? And he never said nothing. He just kept hitting me. But God wouldn't let him knock me out.
Cotton's family and friends tell me she is known for her kind and loving heart.
Cotton works at this church in the Central District. At Mount Zion Baptist, she serves as the president of the senior ministry.
Since the attack, she's received an outpouring of love and support.
Yeah. And the mayor came.
Really?
Yes.
Mayor Harrell?
Yes.
To see you in the hospital?
To see me in the hospital twice.
Police got these images from a neighbor's surveillance camera, and they say he is the suspect. He's got a black backpack and gray sneakers and is believed to be in his 30s. Anyone with information is asked to call the SPD Violent Crimes tip line. Anonymous tips will also be accepted. Meantime, Cotton just wants a better life for her attacker.
You know, not just send him off to prison, don't give him no education, doesn't train him while he's in jail or whatever, but have him doing things in the community.
That's very forgiving of you.
Well, you can't live in this world being selfish.
Maddie White.
God was in control, and I'm living proof right now. Each day I get better and better.
King 5 News.
Seeing the inside of my baby and her skull, you know, on full display, is I really thought she was gonna die. I didn't know how.
Marissa Caron's 16-month-old daughter was following her 3-year-old sister to the front door of their Salem apartment Sunday afternoon when 2 dogs bolted out from her neighbor's door.
My little girl, I couldn't get to her in time, so the dogs had pushed right past me and lunged at her. The female, more aggressive dog had latched onto her head.
While her 3-year-old daughter was able to get away unharmed, her 16-month-old suffered bites to her head and the back of her body.
I mean, the first thing that my eyes caught on to was the back of her head, you know, and the skin and tissue was completely missing. She had a 12 by 12 centimeter of skin and tissue removed from her skull.
Due to the severity of her injuries, she had to be transferred to Randall Children's Hospital. Salem police confirmed the dogs were taken to Marion County Dog Control and their owner was charged. Caron says she reported the dogs to apartment management before.
You know, I told them, I said, you know, this dog is violent and this dog is going to kill somebody's child or is going to seriously scar them for life. The dog had actually been trespassed off the property. It was not supposed to be on the property. And, you know, steps were being followed to remove that, but they weren't complying with that at all.
In a statement, her apartment management wrote, "Due to ongoing eviction litigation against the household in question, we are unable to comment further at this time."
I don't want to sound cruel, but at this point, you know, I don't want them there. I don't want the dogs to be alive. I don't think they deserve to be alive after what they've done.
Before we wrap up this edition of the KREM 2 News Week in Review, we have one more story you might have missed this past week.
Well, it's a winter wonderland on Schweitzer, and as you can see behind me, people are hitting the slopes because it is finally opening day, and skiers I've talked to say they have just been itching to get on the slopes.
Skiers of the Inland Northwest are strapping on their ski boots.
I dream about skiing when I'm not skiing, and when I'm skiing, I'm like, man, I wish I could be skiing even more than I am right now.
How long have you been skiing at Schweitzer?
Oh, about 22 years.
Because Schweitzer Ski Resort is finally open.
Behind me is the Basin Express, which is running for the first time this season, and people are skiing off of Midway.
I am told by visitors they ditch school or work to shred the first mountain snow.
I'm so stoked. I just had shoulder surgery 3 months ago, so if you're my surgeon, don't watch this.
Dr. King, just disregard this.
And even though the season got a late start,
we've been challenged with warmer temperatures, wetter conditions.
Visitors and staff are optimistic about the season ahead.
Season like this is a La Nina season, and so we are really looking at our region to have a lot of snow and also colder temperatures than average. So we're really excited about that.
I'm excited for the whole season. I love powder days. I love spring skiing.
Staff here also want to remind skiers that their Icon Pass, that deadline to purchase, is going to be December 11th. I'm reporting on Schweitzer, Regan Gallo, KREM 2 News.
Thank you for joining us for the KREM 2 News Week in Review. Be sure to keep it here for more news and weather updates throughout the weekend. I'm Cody Proctor. Thanks for watching.